In lesson 9, I promised I would come back to the markup or the profit or the margin in the cost planner. So I'm just going to go in. I'm in the cost planner right now, and I'm going to go into plan costs to open up my plan costs, and I'm going to extend them here like this, and you will see from this extension that we had some unit prices here, which resulted in prices for the different works packages. And the foundations here are going to be done by the main contractor, and all the other works like the walls or masonry works, the roof construction or carpentry works and the completions, also carpentry works, are going to be done by subcontractors. And I'm assuming that these prices, these unit prices, are prices for actually materials and labor costs. So there's no profit included in them. So how do we put this profit or markup or margin into the project? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to go in and we need to right-click here and insert some new columns. And the new columns I'm going to insert are down here somewhere. It's markup value. Then I'm going to look for something called gross total. And finally, I'm going to use cost type. And then I'm going to click OK. And these columns will now appear. You have the gross total here, which is a product of all the calculation here. And then I've got the markup value here, and sorry, the markup percentage and the markup value and the cost type over here. I can move these by holding down the left mouse key and moving them to an appropriate place. For example, I can move it over there, and I'll do the same for the others. They have now been moved closer to the unit costs, the net total, and then the gross total, and so on. And what we have to keep an eye on is now the difference between the gross and the net total. You can see the net total is here, and we have the gross total next door. So we need to put in a further thing, and by clicking on this little icon here in the add-ons and markup section box here, we can open a new and this is what we get. And the way I've actually put in this subcontracts and own works, and by subcontracts I mean, if I just may cancel this for a moment, I mean that the main contractor, who is the concrete contractor, would subcontract the walls and the roof and completions to other contractors. So as I said, by clicking on this icon here, I can put subcontracts and own works. The foundations are own works, whereas these are subcontracts. And the way of doing that is clicking on here and then writing the new value in here and putting a percentage in there. So I'm just going to cancel that for a minute and reopen it. I've already put in the values here. So the value for own works is going to be, let's use a figure. Let's say it's 30%. He wants to earn 30% on own works, and he wants to earn 5% on subcontracts. Ignore this margin for a minute here because this was in there earlier. So I'm going to save these now, and I can go in now under cost type, and I can choose what is own works and what is subcontracts. So own works are these foundations, the outer wall foundation, the inner wall foundations, and also the terrain slab, and the rest here are subcontracts. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to write here own works and click here and choose own works again. Same here. And for the slab too. And as you can see, the markup value comes in there, and there is now a difference between the net value and the gross value. So the markup value has gone through with 30% in this case. And with regard to the other contracts, like for example the outer walls inner walls, the roof, and so on. I'm going to choose subcontracts. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to click on subcontracts, and you can see their values will now go through into the calculation. There is now an add-on to this figure to give us this figure. And that is how we put in the markup. And by adding on, as I said, these subtotals here, remember to add on the slab too, because this is also part of the concreter. By adding these on, we get the total up here, and you can see the total markup here as a percentage and as a figure too. And that ends this video about putting a markup on your calculation.